This is Alisa from Alisa's Transmuting Tarot Facebook page and from Alice's Wonders Facebook page. Now guys, I hope you can hear me, you can see me and everything is working. And today I'm doing another episode of About Tarot series. So this is the series that I personally created and I'm doing it on my channel because on my YouTube channel, which is also called Alisa's Transmuting Tarot, and also on my Alisa's Transmuting Tarot Facebook page. And I do this series. I created these episodes because, as soon as I started doing tarot, as soon as I started reading it, a lot of people were asking me lots of questions about it. And mostly, they were like either asking me questions based on fear or lots of fears, or they were trying to scare me. So either way, whether these were questions or statements or whatever else, it was like a lot of fear-based energy going on. And so people were like, oh my God, you shouldn't be doing this, blah, blah, blah. And so at some point I realized that a lot of us really don't understand this energy, don't really understand this tool and what it's all about. And so I created this series because before I started reading tarot, I was also pretty much prejudiced against it. I was really scared of it because, again, I had no idea what it was really about and how it worked and things like that. And so once I actually learned about tarot, and I understood it, I realized that I can actually pass this knowledge on to others so that, we're not so freaked out by it. So here it is. Today I'm doing the 5th episode of this amazing series. And today I'm discussing the question. By the way, guys, these are questions asked by real people, right? So I'm not making these up. These are, lots of different questions that other people asked me, and I answer them. I kind of almost, feel like, like you have like these columns, for example, Ask Alisa, and I read somebody's like, oh, a person sent a letter to our company or our program, and here's the answer. So this is kind of like this type of, series, but I feel like it's fun and I love doing it. I enjoy it. So yeah. So today we discuss the question, which is, what is the difference between actually tarot cards, right, and oracle cards? Because I feel like, it's really not very clear. There is no, people who do tarot, people who work with oracle cards, who basically use some kind of divination tools, they don't really explain anything much. So you either really have to, kind of like watch them carefully for a long period of time and like study them and figure things out, or you need to read this information somewhere. So it's not like some kind of obvious information. This is something that you kind of need to somehow get information on. By the way, guys, just very quickly, remember to beware of scammers. So remember that if somebody approaches you in the comments and starts offering you some kind of, I don't know, I always forget this word, guys, curses or some kind of negative things or anything else like this, ignore the people and just concentrate on the content of the video. All right. So guys, first of all, if you watched ideally my first episode about tarot, then you know that because I was explaining there what or where tarot originated from. And just to show you very quickly, like a very quick recap, theoretically, at least, kind of like officially, tarot originated from usual playing cards. So this is an example, right? Now, to be honest, today when I was preparing, for this video, I kind of had an epiphany or a download, I guess you could say, and I felt like perhaps it's not 100% the truth, You know why? Because let's think about this. In playing cards, we have four suits, right? We have four suits. We have some kind of court cards representing, like kings, queens, and other people like that. We also have a joker. And the point is that, this idea about having four colors, right? Oh, sorry, not colors. I meant four suits. Four suits. So the idea about having four suits in playing cards, to me, sounds a lot like having, for example, four seasons. Also for directions, like north, south, east, and west. Also, we could say, oh, there are four elements, like fire, water, earth, and wind, right? So it seems like this number four, it came into playing cards already from somewhere else. And if you ask me personally, I would say it comes from, all those like earlier civilizations and, people's beliefs where they did work with the elements, where they worked with the, with the sides, like north, south, east, and west. And they also worked with the elements, right? So to me, I personally feel that actually, or I would say I have realized, kind of like I have got this epiphany, that actually the playing cards probably already, kind of came later. So if you ask me, I would by now say that originally I think there were like different divination tools, perhaps not exactly in the form of cards, but then after a while, this changed its shape and became just kind of like a game. And so we had the playing cards, and then I would say the divination form of the cards so reappeared in the form of tarot cards. This is, what I kind of realized and felt very strongly today. So yeah, this is my feeling. But let's say officially, the official version is that tarot cards originated from playing cards, as if playing cards were like the first thing that appeared. Whatever. This is the official legal information. Okay. Now, very quickly about the structure. So, similar to the playing cards, tarot cards also have, cards with numbers. They also have cards with suits, right? And there are also court cards. For example, queen, king, page, and who else do we have there? And knight, right? So we have something like this. And this is very similar to playing cards. However, the difference between a tarot deck and a playing cards deck is that in playing cards, you don't have something like major and minor arcana, right? In tarot cards, you have, so altogether, there are 78 cards. Now, 22 of them, hold on, yes, 22 of them are the so-called major arcana cards. For example, this is a major arcana card. And this is a minor arcana card. The biggest difference, I guess, like if you just take a very quick look, you would say that when it comes to minor arcana cards, there are suits, and major arcana cards don't have any suits. Now, again, if you ask me, I would say, what is the difference between minor and major arcana? Well, of course, like the typical thing that people say is that when there is a card from minor arcana, the card shows some kind of events that might happen, but they might not happen. And when you have major arcana card, the likelihood, the probability that something will happen is much higher. It's like almost 100%. Although personally, I think, we all have a free will. So if we really, really don't want something to happen, we will find a way not to make it happen. So yeah. So let me see. Oh, and in playing cards, at least in theory, honestly, guys, I didn't count usual playing cards again. But according to internet, there are 52 cards there in this deck. And so in tarot cards, we have 22 major arcana cards and 56 minor arcana cards. Now, when it comes to my way of understanding the difference between minor and major arcana, I would say, to me, minor arcana cards show a little bit more the so-called 3D world, So these cards show what is like how your situation looks more or less on a physical level. The cards can also show your emotions, right? For example, that you're nervous or stressed or something like this, or very happy or feeling, open-hearted and loving, things like that. But still, it's a little bit more on the physical level, so to say. However, when it comes to major arcana cards, let me give you some other example, guys. So that, for example, this one is one of my favorite ones. So when it comes to major arcana cards, these cards, to me, show much deeper situation. So to me, this is more about your soul. And these are the cards that do not have their counterparts in playing cards. There is no any similarity or anything that would resemble major arcana cards in playing cards whatsoever. So and they are literally called major, right? So this is something that is like more important. So to me, I would say this is exactly like the journey of your soul. This is what, and if you look at them, if you look at major arcana cards, they start from 0, not from 1, they start from 0 and until 21, I believe. Hold on. Yeah, the world is the last one. So this is 21. And so, and it's interesting because if you look at the world, the shape, right? So it's round. So it's kind of like 0 again. Why? Because you start from 0 and then you complete a certain cycle and you begin a new cycle, right? So this is a lot, I feel, about, about kind of soul growth, soul learning. And that's why I feel like we have these cards in tarot deck. However, the original question was, what is the difference between tarot cards and oracle cards? Now, oracle cards, to me, okay, the simple, if you ask me, the simple answer to the question, what is the difference between a tarot deck and an oracle cards deck, I would say, no difference, guys. No difference. For those people who know me, you know that I am a person who sees things in a pretty simple way. And I know that our brains sometimes have this tendency to complicate things and to feel like, oh, if it's simple, then it's not true or whatever. But in reality, I feel like life is actually pretty simple. And things are way simpler than, it might seem. So ultimately, the only difference that I see between tarot cards and oracle cards is the structure. Just the structure. Because as we just discussed, tarot cards are kind of based on some kind of rules, right? Rules in terms of structure, meaning similarly to playing cards, we have specific number of cards in a tarot deck, right? We have specific suits. There are always 4 suits. No other number of suits. It's always 4. We always have court cards, we always have cards with numbers, and we always have minor and major arcanas. So there is no way kind of around it. The structure, is always there. But when it comes to oracle cards, there is no structure, guys. Oracle cards are like, go with the flow, do whatever you like, be free. This is how I would describe oracle cards. These are just channeled cards, channeled messages that people put on paper in the form of cards and then printed them out. Just, nothing more. To me, I would say that again, tarot cards are obviously channeled too, especially the meanings, right? But also clearly major arcana, like absolutely. But when it comes to oracle cards, first of all, there are no rules about the number of oracle cards. Like literally, it can be a four card tarot, four card oracle deck. Also, guys, there can be a situation. I mean, pretty much anybody can channel an oracle cards deck. So if tomorrow any of you guys decide to create an oracle cards deck, you're free to do that. There is, as far as I know, there is no like special committee that is going to check your deck and be like, is this oracle cards deck a real oracle cards deck or no? Can we print it out or not? Is it according to regulations or not? Nothing like that, guys. Nothing. It's just literally you just you create it, right? So this is the product of your creation, your personal, unique creativity, and nobody's gonna tell you if it's right or wrong, if it's good or bad or whatever. You just create what you feel flows through you. So you're just channeling messages. You can choose whatever pictures you want. You can paint the pictures yourself if you are, for example, gifted when it comes to drawing or painting. You can definitely create cards like that. And I know many people who created their oracle cards decks using their own paintings. You can also, you can actually also use, you can ask some painters to specifically paint those pictures for you. I think you can also use computer graphics. You can use the pre-existent pictures or photos from the internet. Basically, you can do a lot, guys. So I also heard, from one person, I think, I heard this situation that somebody said, oh, when it comes to, okay, let me put it this way. When it comes to people who work only with oracle cards, so for example, they never read tarot cards, they also sometimes are, I wouldn't say exactly like prejudiced, but it's like they have this feeling or idea that, oh, probably tarot cards are completely different. There is like so much difference between them and oracle cards, and so people often feel like these are like two completely different worlds, blah blah blah. Honestly, it's one world, guys, just one world. No division really. So the only difference is that when it comes to tarot decks, regardless of different tarot decks, the meanings of the cards would usually be more or less the same, pretty much the same, because you still have kind of like the same cards. There might be slightly different meanings, but they will still have like major similar basis, let's say. And in oracle cards, you don't have any similar basis at all. So with each oracle cards deck, you need to learn it from the scratch. So when it comes to oracle cards, to me, like if you ask me, I would say it just kind of takes you a lot more time and energy to learn these, because you have to put more energy and effort into it. So yeah, this is it. And yeah, so I heard from some Oracle cards readers something like, oh, I only work with Oracle cards, and to me, the energy coming from Oracle cards is, for example, gentler, or let's say, I don't know, more pleasant than the energy coming from tarot cards. Now, to me, I personally haven't actually worked myself with Oracle cards, but from what I see, I would say, uh, honestly, I feel like it really, really depends on an Oracle cards deck. I don't think that all Oracle cards decks are having or have gentler energy and they're all like exactly the same. No. To me, I feel that, again, if you watched my previous videos, I mentioned that there is no such thing as, kind of like cards having their own energy, so to say. I mean, it's not like a ghost or some like magical thing that does something to you. No, but I did mention that cards, as well as all other objects in the world, like for example flowers or a mug of water or anything else, everything in our lives does have its energy. And how does it get this energy? It gets its energy from us, guys, the creators of these things and the owners of these things. So if you, for example, in your place of living, spend a lot of time using something, you touch something, right? You sip water from a mug, you smell the flowers. During these situations, you kind of give a little bit of your energy into this, right? And so the same happens with the cards. And so, yes, cards kind of have a little bit of energy of the creator. So, whoever created a certain deck gave, some kind of energy from themselves into it, poured, because this is literally creativity. It's like, imagine you give birth to a child. This is your personal creativity. You create new life. So, would you say that you gave a part of yourself to create another life? Of course, literally, women give parts of their body, so to say, like their own DNA to create a new body, right? A new child. So the same happens on energetic level, and it doesn't have to be a baby. It can be just a thing. But when we create it, we give it part of our energy. And so if you feel that, let's say you touch an Oracle cards deck and you feel like this pleasant, gentle energy, it means that you like the person or you like the energy of the person who created it. And you feel, that this person has really nice, gentle, and pleasant energy. To me, when when I touch my tarot deck, I would say I kind of feel my energy. Why? Because it's my deck, right? So I really resonate with it, and it's like I recognize it. It's like my energy recognizes my energy. So to me, I feel like if there were several tarot decks lying one next to another, and I were to choose them with, let's say, without looking, just by touching them, or like feeling their vibration, I think I would probably recognize mine, because it's just, as an owner of this tarot deck, I just feel the resonance of my energy with my energy. So this is how it feels, and this is what it's all about. So guys, let's see. To sum it up, the difference between a tarot cards deck and an oracle cards deck, to me, is pretty much non-existent. The only difference is the structure, because tarot cards are very much based on playing cards, and so they're structured in a similar way, except for, like I mentioned, except for major arcana cards, right? Which are completely unique and unlike playing cards. And yeah, just the structure really, and the fact that tarot cards, they have specific meanings to their cards, and oracle cards are just completely like each oracle cards deck is always different, and you can't really predict, you know, what a certain card is going to mean in somebody else's oracle cards deck. By the way, guys, I also need to mention one more thing. I saw some, I believe these were oracle cards decks. Were yes, for sure. So some people, some creators of oracle cards still prefer to use some similarities, let's say, with tarot cards as well. For example, in some oracle cards decks, I saw situations where there were also four suits, right? These were not the same suits as in tarot, like we have wands, swords, cups, and pentacles. No, these were, for example, some people who create oracle cards decks, they use such suits as winter, autumn, spring, summer, right? And some people, for example, use the following suits. They call these voices. Voices. I think passion, something else, and something else. Basically, they use the same suits as they are in tarot cards, but they just name them differently, right? So there are many oracle cards creators who for some reason still prefer to use those for elements or some kind of this, you know, symbolism of number 4. So like I said, the symbolism of number 4 to me is very important, and I do think that it precedes playing cards. I do think so. So that's why you might sometimes see something like this in oracle cards, but it doesn't mean that oracle cards are still structured the same as tarot cards. No, it's just that there are some minor similarities, right? Just because the creator of such cards chose to have this similarity. So that was, you know, somebody's conscious choice. And like I said, the number of oracle cards can be completely different. For example, so let me just very quickly show you. If you watch my regular weekly tarot cards readings, when I read the energy of the upcoming week, you know that I also, apart from drawing 3 cards from a tarot deck, I also use my divination tools. And these are literally the divination tools that I personally created. How did I create them? I channeled them. What does it mean that I channeled them? It means that I connected with my higher self. I took a pen and a paper, and then I literally transferred the messages that my higher self wanted me to write. This is it. So I did it in a simple way. I just, you know, did it kind of like at home, for example. You know, I wrote one word and I knew what it was about. Or I wrote the whole message, right? So that was self-explanatory, so to say. Or I wrote such message. Now, but if I really wanted to, already now, I could, guys, take all of these different channeled messages. I could go somewhere, ask somebody to print them out for me, and already have, let's say, 3 oracle cards decks. That's totally possible. Also, by the way, you know, if you saw some different oracle cards decks, then you probably saw that some people are very creative also in terms of shapes. So, because usually tarot cards are like kind of like classical, you know, they're just simple. But when it comes to oracle cards, some people create round cards, right? Some people create cards which are not like that, so they're not what? We have horizontal and I forgot the word, guys. Anyway, The cards don't go like this, but like that. So you have a picture which is horizontal. Then some cards also are, for example, very small, a little bit bigger than these ones, just a little bit. But for example, they're also put like this horizontally. Some cards, there are also some cards which are also in the shape of hearts, like mine, right? So basically, the sky is not the limit here. You know, there is no limit to creativity. You can create anything that you like in any shape and form that you like, and you're free to experiment with your creativity 100% here. So yeah, I would say this is it. Let me think once again if I told you everything. I'm gonna look at my plan again. Oh yes, guys, very quickly, I'm going to mention one more thing about the cards. This is not exactly, let's say, my area of expertise at the moment, because I haven't got into it much. But there are also cards which are called, okay, in English I think it's pronounced Lenormand. Originally I think it's French, so it's like Lenormand cards. Created by a lady whose surname I think was Lenormand, hence the name. Now, I haven't really worked with these cards, and somehow before I've never been really drawn to working with these cards. That's why I don't really have that much information on it. But I did do, you know, like a quick read about them, and I would say, like, all in all, they are quite similar to tarot cards. They actually, so the point is that they physically look a lot, so they literally have very similar, not really similar, the same actually pictures as playing cards. So these are used there, but it's like usually you have, okay, let's say you have white, imagine this is white. So you have, let's say, white background, and then somewhere at the top, for example, you would have this. Guys, okay, hold on. Oh, guys, why can't I? Okay. For example, you have something like this, and then here at the bottom, you would have another picture or something like this. So there would be, it's like a card within a card. This is what it usually looks like. And so I would say, to me, these cards are quite similar to tarot cards, but you have to learn how to read them in more detail, I would say. You know, for example, because both in tarot cards and in Lenormand cards, each card has many, many meanings. The only difference, as far as I understood, is that in tarot cards, you have, you know, if you explain the meaning of cards, one card can have a standalone meaning, but also, or standalone lots of meanings, but also, let's say you have 3 cards together, and then you can read them together. So they have like a meaning altogether, like they create a certain story or explanation together, and depending on which card is next to which, they have different meanings. In Lenormand cards, as far as I understood, you cannot read one card separately. Like there is no, it does not mean anything. Cards in Lenormand cards decks, cards only have meanings together with each other. This is how it works. So this is it. And oh, by the way, guys, so the last thing is that when it comes to oracle cards, these cards are usually, so they have standalone meanings. In other words, if you take one, let's say, oracle card, you, without, you know, having any information about other cards around it, you just have one specific meaning. This one card has one message that it wants to tell you. So in other cards, like I said, in tarot cards, in Lenormand cards, depending on which cards are where, you have slightly different meanings, right? So they kind of cooperate together, they work together to create a certain sense. And oracle cards, they can cooperate really, but I would say they rather work alone. So each card is like a powerful message on its own. So this is it. All right, guys, I hope that was clear and helpful. I hope you now understand what it's all about. And if you go to somebody who is a tarot reader or basically a cards reader, then if a person uses different cards, that you don't have to be afraid of it or anything like this. But it's kind of like very easy. It's the same thing. These are just tools for divination. These are just tools for reading the energy. Nothing else, nothing more. And recently I spoke with somebody, and this person was again like, oh my god, tarot cards, they have their own power, blah blah blah. And I was like, no, they do not. I mean, honestly, guys, they only have as much power as we give them, right? Like anything else in the world. Because the only creatures, I would say, who really have any power are us. So nothing else really. Nothing is stronger than us. So remember about this. And also, guys, just a quick reminder, I already mentioned this on Monday, but just if you haven't watched that video, I want to, boast a little bit because I recently finished a course in Theta Healing. So now I'm an official Theta healer, and I think I'm going to shamelessly hang my certificate very soon somewhere around in my house. I'm very, very happy about it. I'm super excited. And in this course, there was also a part of the training devoted to learning how to read energy. It was without cards, but you also know that I mentioned before that it's possible to read energy without any tools. And like I said, I don't really need any cards or any tools to read energy either. It's just, for me at this moment, it's a little bit easier with the cards. That's why I use them, but I don't really have to use them. Anyway, and our instructor once again said, remember that there is no such thing as one, set in stone future. That future is constantly changing, it's malleable, and depending on our actions, our decisions, on everything that we do, our future changes. And I was like, thank you, somebody else says the same thing as I do. Because if you watch my channel, you know that I keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And I always say, like, there is no one strict future. We always have the power. We always create our reality ourselves, and our future changes all the time depending on what we do and how we live, and what we choose to do and to think, etc. And I was just so happy that somebody confirmed it to me once again. And so yeah, guys, here we go. So I'm not the only one who understands this, and I hope you understand this too. I hope you feel this too. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for today. Remember that if you're interested in personal tarot readings with me, you can always contact me via Alisa's Transmitting Tarot Facebook page. You can also contact me there regarding coaching sessions, and now also Theta healing sessions and coaching sessions connected, or including also Theta healing sessions. So remember, this is Alisa's Transmitting Tarot Facebook page. And if you're interested in my energetic jewelry, so intuitively made gemstone bracelets that I create specifically for each person's particular energy, and then I load with positive energy for that specific person, then you can contact me via Alice's Wonders Facebook page as well. And very quick announcement, guys. I'm once again coming back to my written posts series, which was 14 unusual facts about me. So if you're interested, if you're curious to know some, interesting or funny or curious facts about me, then stay tuned. I'm going to come back to it very soon. Thank you very much, guys, and have a great day. Bye, guys.